So I am now recording and then let me see. Comment. Just want to be sure the my screen. I still put on my screen. I don't know if it's going to put my screen on it, but anyway, at least we should have some level of recording. Okay. All right. I think we're good. So we are recording in Zoom. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, ladies, we're going to continue. Let me see where I stopped. I think I was talking about where we first learned about savings, budgeting, and stuff. Unfortunately, unlike other things, it's not a formal sort of like education. It's mostly we get to learn it as we go along. Like it's not one of those things whereby your mom is like, hey, you didn't cook this one very well, oh yeah, recook it and stuff. So most times, a lot of us are just what we seen an uncle do and all of that. And sometimes we form mindsets as well. Our financial mindset is from what our experience is. And because somebody sits us down to teach us a very different thing to say or to think, we've sort of formed different mindsets. And that mindset follows us into adulthood. And whether we like it or not, beyond the good manners, there is a psychological aspect of budgeting and savings because especially if somebody was very poor when they were growing up, they might form, if they are not taught something different, they might form a very interesting relationship with money, depending on who teaches them. All right. And when it's very funny because you would have thought that, oh, because people were poor, so they are going to spend their money better when they are rich. However, it's not always the case because it depends on what kind of mindset is being formed when people were growing up. And so, because of that, I think it is very good that we're having this kind of topic to talk about it because we need to look at when we're talking about budgeting, smart money, habits, budgeting, and savings. I feel like I want to divide it into two parts. What I'm going to be speaking to you about today is going to be first looking at the past, and I call that plugging the holes. All right, plugging the holes. And then the second part is preparing for the future. And I feel like that's really very important because it's we can say how we all know about finance. We know what is good. We know that we should save millions, and we know really that we should save our salary. We all know, but why don't we do it? And sometimes it's not about willpower alone. Sometimes the answers to why we don't do it is rooted in our past. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about today is think back about when you first learned about money. All right. I want you to just think about it. When you first learned about money, impact, was it growing up? Was it having too much, being rich and realizing that other people were poor? Or was it being poor and realizing that other people were rich? Or was it you wanting to get something and your parents couldn't get it to you? Just think about it and just think about the emotions that surround that. All right. And I want you to just, these are sort of that's your first assignment. Think about it. But outside, I want you to write that down so that you can go back after the session and sort of look at it again and make impactful decisions. Now, what I realize is that, like I said before, people form financial mindsets, and some of them can be very wrong. People form the fact that, let's say, for example, when they were growing up, they begged their neighbor for food, and their neighbor couldn't give them that food. Now, what they try to do is that, like, they can make up their mind, even as children. Maybe they saw their mom or their dad begging for food, and then they couldn't get that food. They're going to make up their mind. I'm never going to beg anybody for anything. I'm going to be my own person and stuff. Now, when they grow up in future, they might not have a collaborative spirit that might give them more finances. Another one is, first of all, your parents work in civil service, all right? And they were owing them salary. They never really got paid. All right. It was always like they were working, but they were not getting paid. And because of that, you made up your mind. I am never going to work for anybody in this life. All right. I'm going to have my own business because then you went to the market women, you went to like some people that had their own business and they were doing well. Now, that is good because those things can shape us and make us really better. However, sometimes you might not have the other core skills that require you to be an entrepreneur. So let's say you now graduate, you don't have all the other core skills of being an entrepreneur. But just because of that singular mindset that you don't want to work for anybody, they're asking you to just say, no, I want to be an entrepreneur. You that you cannot even lead yourself. You want to be leading people. You don't have discipline, but you say, no, I'm never going to work for anybody. Did we see how financial mindset is now? Now you now start a business, you are freelance. You that are supposed to even learn structure as a graduate. You don't have any structure. In fact, you managed to graduate, all right? Because you cannot even, let's say, some people are even really brilliant, right? And they do graduate. But as in they don't struggle with academic work. But when it comes to all the skill sets that entrepreneurship needs, you don't have them. The only thing you have is intelligence. And I will tell you, I'm the first person to tell you, I've been around business for about 30 years. Intelligence enough alone is not enough to sustain entrepreneurship. And that's why it seems like everybody is doing business. But why is it that it's only a few people that are rising high? It's because some people have not learned the other courses. Some people are supposed to close their business and go and work for somebody, learn the structure, be able to wake up early. Some people say they're doing business. They drop their children in school in the morning, they come back home, they sleep to 12. They will now post on WhatsApp, I have shoes to sell by 12 to 1, and then they go and bring their children again. That's the business they are doing. It won't go far. You get so, and sorry, I'm not coming to throw shades at people. I hope we get it. But you see that, but because the mindset they have is, and you can't blame them, they don't ever want to suffer and be in that position. But unfortunately, they're in a situation whereby what they are doing now cannot pay them. All right. They won't move forward. I'll give you an example from myself. When I was growing up, my parents were entrepreneurs. They were not even salary earners. But I saw how hard entrepreneurship was. And I was like, you know what? Me as a person, I want to work. I want to be collecting salary. I don't want that uncertainty. I want to be collecting salary. All right. Thankfully, my parents, did teachers. I learned a lot of financial stuff also with them running entrepreneurship business because you were part of the business. We were running it. You knew, okay, everything is not income. There is profit, there is the capital. I was able to learn a little bit of that. But I'll tell you, I really made up my mind that I'm not going to be an entrepreneur because I cannot be waiting around for put all of these works and stuff. And that was when I was growing up. But as I started to, got married and all of that, my mindset changed. And I realized that, okay, fine. It doesn't always have to be like that. You can structure your business in a better way. And also, kudos to my parents. They've stayed at that business, thriving it, nurturing it for about 35, 36 years now. And to be honest, they are the capital of their industries now. All right. So you see that what I saw then was just their beginning, but I made a decision based on their beginning. Do you get? I made a decision because they were both in business. I used to think, why can't one person just go and work? We will not have this problem. Do you get? Because we were like always in sinusoidal. We will have a lot today. Tomorrow is like deep. My dad deep poultry once, like 120 chicken died. I'm like, ah. So that's like deep. You get? So if that 120 chicken, then the remaining like 80 that survived, you beat them again. When their eggs, when they lay egg, if you don't pick it within like an hour, they will break all the eggs. Then you don't want to sell them as broiler again. They took some of them to Akure, which is about 1 hour away from where we live. They said the heat was too much, like half of them died. I'm like, what's this problem? You get? So even though I had all the skill sets that was necessary for a business, helping my parents and all of that, I did make up my mind that, you know what, I'm not for a sinusoidal life. Man, I just want to enjoy my life. I will not work for government because those ones, they might not pay salary and all of that. But I will I'm going to actually do something that I feel like is stable. All right. And also it affected how I was concentrating in school because I was like, you know what, I just want to make it. I was ready to just be a lecturer, stable salary, you get, and a pathway that was secured. All right. A pathway that was secured. So, I said all of that to just show us that it is good that we make decision. I will save this month. I will do this thing. But at the root of your mindset is what you have imbibed up until now. All right. So I just want to say that, I don't want to flog that us too much. Is think about how you grew up and all of that. And tell yourself, I will get financial education. All right. That's what I want you to tell yourself. You can rewrite your story. Somebody said, I might not come from a wealthy family, but a wealthy family can come from me. I might not come from a spiritual family, but a spiritual family can come from me. All right. So first of all, is you need to plug that hole. There's something that they used to say in relationship for us. They used to say, not for just for ladies, for guys. They say you before you deal. All right. So, it's like a foundation. You need to heal that mindset. Because even if you're a millionaire, if you don't heal that mindset, you might be somebody that keep grabbing at money, 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 and never even be happy. You have everything, you're not even happy because You were just saying, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be stranded. That was all you were doing. You were not making friends. You were not making any other thing. You were just making money. And even though we want you to make money, we don't want you to be isolated. So plug the holes, heal the past. So tell yourself, I'm going to get financial education. How do you get financial education? We're going to talk about that in preparing for the future, but there are so many ways. These days, there's podcasts, there are courses, there are Instagram posts, there are Instagram coaches, that these things are around you. Just tell yourself, I just want to understand, what I can do better and all that. Because some people think, oh, financial coaching is about when you're a billionaire. Well, don't worry. When I get a million like this, I will go and learn how to spend it. For now, allow me to enjoy myself. I mean, how do you say it? Allow me to enjoy myself. You get it? Like one of my pastors said once that one guy was looking for a job for a very long time. He didn't get. Then he now got a job. And when he was looking for a job, he was just wearing like one clothes. The day he got the job, he went to buy 36 trousers. So you see, he will still be poor again because how do you buy 36 trousers on the day that you got the job? You can, because if you already use all your salary to, how will you transport yourself to work? But the mindset, and that's another thing that you need to know that your person is in who you are, not in what you have. It's good to have. We want you to budget and have it. We want you to be successful, independent women doing great and all of that. But I feel like the person needs to be healed because there are a lot of people walking around that if their money got taken away from them, they will commit suicide. All right. They will, and some people have even entered relationship, married somebody just because of money. All right, just because they don't want to be poor, they don't want to be stranded. So that's why it's very important that you plug the holes and you heal before you do heal the past. The antidote to that is get financial education, get new financial education. All right, just like you are here today, so you're doing something great and doing about it. All right. The second thing I want to say is about check your habits. All right. You need to check your current habits. All right. And habits can be, we can enjoy ourselves. So look, I want you to take your bank statements. You might not be able to do that right on this call, but take your bank statement, look at where money is going. You will understand yourself, your money behavior. All right. I used to say it that if somebody posts a lot online, I can understand what their money behavior is. If I take your phone for 10 minutes, I can understand what your money because I'm going to be going to your bank statement and I want to see it. All right. So look at your bank statement. You can begin to say, oh, and I'm going to tell you a story. I live in the United Kingdom. I count myself as slightly very, disciplined. Maybe I'll give myself 8/10, and all of that. But then when I came in as a student, I came in on a very limited budget. All right. Very limited budget. When it is your friends that say, this is how much we have. We don't go and disappoint us. I came in on a very limited budget and I was doing well and stuff. And then I started working. And then when I started working, I was still doing well. But, I used to take my own food from home and all of that. But then one day somebody told me, oh, there was this place, we call it Subway, close to my office and stuff, and you can go and get, there's something that they call like a burger, long bread like this. If you get half, it's like £4. If you get the full one, it's like £6. So they've done the math. So you just get it like, oh, why should I get half for £4? Why don't I just get the full one? I eat it in the morning, and then when I'm going in the afternoon, I'll just eat it at this and that. Anyway, after about 2 months, I one day looked at my bank statement and I could literally count a lot of subways on my bank statement. And I was like, because sometimes you know you're doing something, but you've not confronted yourself. All right. So you need to confront yourself. And I looked at my bank statement and I was like, I think, if you ask me, I'll say, oh, yeah, maybe I ate it like 4 times a month, but I can't even tell you how many times I saw on that bank statement. So, I just crossed the line there. And that's why sometimes, we trust ourselves and all of that, but somebody says, data, we ask everyone for data, only God. We don't ask God to bring data. Data do not lie. I tell you, I'm sure the mathematicians here will tell you. So sometimes you really need to confront yourself with data. And nobody's going to do it for you because you just tell me yourself, I'm a wise spender, I'm a wise spender. Look at your bank statement. All right? Look at your bank statement. That will really tell you if you're a wise spender or you're not a wise spender. All right. So that's the second thing. Get your bank statement and look at it. That's still under plugging the hole, looking at the past. And the other thing I wanted to say is, let me just get my notes up as well, is in the past, in terms of what you've done, there's a lot of emotional giving, especially for us Black people, all right? There's a lot of emotional giving and emotional spending and emotional giving, all right? And I think in a way, it's not like it's good that we are in tune with our emotions and our families and all of that. But the thing is that most times we are not smart about it. We are just allowing emotions to drive all our decisions. I don't think as human beings we can ever be emotionless. If you're emotionless about anything, that's not going to work. But think about what has been the driving force, all right, for what you've done in the past in terms of emotions, all right? There's a lot of emotional giving, and I feel like we are not smart about it. I feel like it is good to give to people, it is good to do, especially black people, there's a lot of black tax and all of that, right? That always happens. And sometimes when we really look at it, it's because we ourselves, we are not secure in who we are. That's why we are sort of um we're sort of falling victim to this emotional giving. So I wanted to look at it. So, for example, let me tell you, I once met somebody at work and we were working together, and he told me he wasn't saving. He was a Nigerian, and he told me he wasn't saving. And when I started to question him, he lived closer to the office, and all of that. It was any more than me. So when I started to question him, then I realized he said, "Oh yeah, that he spends this money. He and his friends, obviously, is a guy. They go out on the weekend. Average weekend, they spend 200 pounds. They were spending. I'm telling you, I'm like, how are you going to save? There are 4 weeks in a month. 200 times 4 is already 800. How are you going to save? You get because in Nigeria they buy drinks for each other. Here in the UK, people don't buy drinks for each other, but because they are Nigerians in the UK, they still buy drinks for each other, and it's racking up. So I'm not in favor of drinking anyway. I'm just putting it as this is a story of somebody that we're saying. And then I later questioned him again. At that point, he was also sending some money to his sister. And then I asked him, this money you're sending to your sister, she said she was in uni. And then I later found out that, oh, his parents are still giving his sister money. And he is also giving his sister money as well. So the sister is in uni. She's the biggest of the biggest girl because her brother is abroad. However, her brother is not saving anything. And that's not to say that, there are some people that they are the firstborn or secondborn. They are the people, they are the only one that have made a little bit of money. And they have the responsibility to support their family members because it is a collective effort to get you to where you are, all right? In Africa, it is a collective effort. However, don't make it if your parents are giving somebody, don't make that you are responsible. You are funding another person's extravagant lifestyle. All right, the fund they need, not a want. All right, so fund they need. Be bold to ask questions if people want to ask you for money. Be sure that it is going towards a need, because somebody cannot be doing the biggest girl in a university and you are here in the United Kingdom. I was telling a brother, and you're not saving anything. It's different once you tell your parents, okay, don't worry, I'll be responsible for our upkeep. You stop giving her any upkeep so that it will not stress you. All right. But I will be responsible. But she cannot be taken from the two sides. She cannot be taken from both the parents and at the same time be taken from yourself, and you are not saving. So make sure that support your family members, support this thing, but make sure you're funding a need, not a want. All right. And then that takes me to the next thing about the past, because these are some of the things that we've done in the past and it's to do in the future, is learn to say no. All right. Learn to say no. You can't help everybody. There's a popular video that was going around. The man said, if you try to help everybody, you are not El Shaddai, you shall die. I don't know if you've seen that video. All right. So you can't help everybody. All right. You can do your best. And as a good daughter of, good daughter, good sister, good wife, good in-law, support people, because you need people in your community. However, learn to say no. You can't help everybody. You can't help everybody. Learn to say no. And when I say learn to say no, it's not about just giving money alone. It's about things like our popular, for example, Ashwebi. All right. Now, it's true, because I was just trying to see, we need to be practical. Now, Ashwebi is something that thankfully my mom gave me a principle for Ashwebi that I have used and it has worked. However, I understand that it doesn't work in all families. All right. So my mom, for example, does not do Ashwebi. It's a principle. People know. Even she has married 3 people now. She did not do Ashwebi. She gives colors. All right. She gives colors. And I know I've also adopted that principle, before I got married. But in my husband's family, they do Ashwebi. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. Do you get? However, know your limits and learn to say no. Right? Know your limits and learn to say no. And let me give you a practical advice, because you might be like, how do I say it? So for everyone you say yes to, say no to another one. For every Ashwebi you say yes to, say no to the next person. All right. So just be rotating it on any friend that is unfortunate enough. You get for everyone you say yes to, say no to the other one. Okay. Then so styles that will last you 10 years. It's good to sew. You know, the way people are sewing, the way things that people are sewing for Ashwebi in Nigeria, and I'm not coming against anybody. These are things that we are not celebrities, we are not millionaires, we're sewing like we are millionaires. We are sewing a one-time dress. A millionaire can afford to wear something one time, but why should you sew something that you will only be able to wear once? Why? Why? You are not. All right? Why should you sew? I know it is rainy styles, but in 2 years, I'm going to move on from that, or you're even going to get bigger and all of that. You get I'll tell you what I personally practice. Every time I go to Nigeria for an event, I come back with about nothing less than 6 outfits. All right, because maybe there was a wedding, there was this, there was that, there was that, there was that. You get okay, no problem. All right, because these are family members and stuff. What I do is, first of all, I ensure that I sew styles that can last me 10 years. It's a personal principle because I live in the UK. I can only wear this thing 3 months a year. All right. So I'm not going to sew something that is not, I'm not sewing corsets. You get because it will soon go away. If I want to sew it to be in a way that is going to last me. In fact, some of them I sew it so that I can just flaunt it to work on a Friday or something like that. So that people say, this is your culture, but it's not too elaborate. Do you get? And if it is very elaborate, I make sure it is something that can last me. In fact, when it comes to tailoring, I try to ensure that you don't add the rainy material, just add the material that add the thing that can last me. And I'll tell you, I still wear clothes that I sew for my wedding. I still wear them up to now. And I've been married, I'm going to be 11 years this year. I still wear them. All right. Okay. Maybe I'm lucky. I've not really gotten too bigger from them. But I just feel like because there's a lot of places where waste comes from. So you want to plug that waste. You want to plug it. If you're going for somebody that is your friend, is their wedding, for the maybe for the engagement, where Ashwebi, for the male wedding, tell them that you will not do that one. I said, just let's be smart about it. Let's be smart about it. That's just the way to preserve. Because sometimes it's not about getting more money. It's about even accounting for the one that you already have. All right. Okay. So I won't flog that point. I'm running out of time, but I'll go to my next point as well. Okay. I remember I said, always tell yourself, I am rich because of who I am and not because of what I have. Because sometimes, like I said, people's identity are tied to. That's why people are buying things that they cannot really afford. Can you really afford that iPhone? Can you really afford it? Can you really afford it? All right. Get things that you can afford. You can pay for. All right. I don't think anything is too expensive personally. It's just a matter of can I afford it? Is it in my affordability kid? And I don't begrudge people. All right. If I have my money, I'm going to buy a private jet and I'm going to be flying it around the world. It's my money. You get. But I can't afford it right now. When I can afford it, nobody should even see anything. I'm going to be flying my private jet. The day I was going with boss, people did not see me and running to catch train and running to catch train door. I'm sure I will show you on some of my posts. Right? So if I can fly a helicopter, why won't I do it? However, it must be that I do it at a time whereby I can afford it. All right. And that affordability is not just about you can afford it now. It is what does it do to your finance? All right. If I can fly a private jet round the world and it doesn't do a dent to my business, it's not like I buy a private jet now, then my business is down for the next 10 years. Do you get my point? So I hope that helps. So quickly, let me go to the preparing for the future. All right. Once you've plugged the hole and you now want to prepare for the future, the first thing is we've all heard it. You need to create a budget. All right. Even if you are going to the market, things we just be doing like this. In Yoruba, they'll say, come in, come in, come in. As in, you need to create a budget. You need to always have a list. I know that you've heard this several times, but I'm telling you, you think I know what I want to buy in my head. But if you don't stick to your list, if you don't write it down, or if you don't have it on your phone, all right? So I have like a weekly budget on my phone. They love things, they love, and then use your 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 awareness of technology to help yourself. In fact, you can tell ChatGPT, I want to be spending 100,000 naira a month. Help me create a list of food, create a food timetable, because it's a lot of things that goes to waste. So create a budget, create a list, document it. Don't just have it in your head, all right? If you have it in your head, you will buy a crate of egg, and then you fry 6 today, you fry 4 tomorrow morning. Then when you come back from work, you quickly fry 2 again. And then by 10 days time, it's already finished. Because you're just like, this egg, let me just quickly fry 2. But if you have your time, you're like, this egg, this 30 eggs is for 15 days of the month. It's for half month. Then you will know, this time I cannot fry. Maybe I should add more pepper. I'll just fry 2. Because you are being lazy to cut the pepper. You're like, I can just fry egg. But if you remember that it is for 15 days, you just add some pepper and some egg, and then it will become plenty. Do we get? So I feel like sometimes we need to destruct ourselves. All right, destruct yourselves in terms of pattern and stuff. Make it easier for yourself. Use technology to help yourself. Create a list. Make a budget. Create a list about your surroundings, about what you want. Then the other thing I want to say is reverse engineer financial freedom. All right, look at where you are, and then set a goal for 10 years. All right, and then when you set the goal for 10 years, ask yourself, how am I going to get to this goal? All right, because there are a lot of goal setters in this world, but implementers is what you don't have. All right, tell you, I set a goal, look at it for yourself. I know people do vision board and all of that, and that's why sometimes it looks like vision boards doesn't work, because we're not putting in the work that needs to make it work. So, but you sit down and think about what financial freedom means to you. Does it mean being able to travel? Does it mean being able to, some of us now, we are so busy raising our kids and stuff. We're not even preparing for pension. We're not preparing for old age. We're not preparing for stuff. You get? And this generation like this now, it is gradually, people are beginning to like less taking care of their parents. What's going to happen? You're spending all your money now. You're not making any investments. You're not making any long term. You don't have any. I'm not going to talk to you about particular investments, but you need to start thinking long term about beyond now. You need to think about today and tomorrow. All right. So ensure that you are really planning in that way. Reverse engineer it. Have a plan, 5-year goal, 10-year goal. Then ask yourself, how am I going to get there? Then when you look at it, okay, what do I need today? What do I need to do today to get there? What do I need to do today to get there? All right. Then the next thing I want to say is upskill. All right, upskill. Sometimes the way to get more money or to get to your financial goal is to upskill, right? The world is changing, right? The world in 1990 is not the world in year 2000. The world in year 2000 was not the world in year 2010. The world in year 2010 was not the world in 2019. The world in 2019 was not the same in 2020 post-pandemic. Now, the world in 2022 publicizing of AI is not the same word in 2025. All right. So upskill, future-proof your skills, because that way you can earn more. Some of us, since we left our formal education, we've not educated ourselves on anything. And that will not help, because whether you like it or not, the job landscape is changing. All right. I know people in Nigeria that they are earning from their writing skill in dollars. All right. I know people, some people even migrate here and they are students. I'm telling them that, okay, it's good that you're looking for a job in the UK here. Have you also considered remote job? I know that, Adeshawa teaches a lot about your skill, creating digital products and all of that. You need to upskill, all right? You need to upskill. So please look for areas in which you can upskill. Look for area in which you can upskill so that you can earn more income. And when you earn more income, you can save more. And that's the way to be smart about it. And also, you have future proving yourself. Not like it is, you are 20 now, you are not upskilling. By the time you get to 40, what you are doing, look at the typists, people that used to be typists. If you, let's say, there's no job for any typist now. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So even in your career, what is the next step? What is the digital side of that career? Start upskilling. In 2022, 2021, at work as an engineer, I used to do some work and it's moving a lot of data, creating it and all of that. And then we employed one graduate and he came with some Java code and all of that, right? A bit of Java. And something that used to take us 20 hours, this boy wrote some code for it. And it started taking us 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And that hour was taken away. Do you get? And the admin person that used to help me initially with 2 hours, all those things were taken away. Do you get? So we need to upskill so that your skills are not obsolete. You are not boxed in. As you are growing, make sure that your skills are growing, all right? So that you can earn more. Because as you are growing, you might not have the physical energy to do physical work. Make sure that there's a lot of intellectual sort of knowledge, intellectual assets that you are gaining, such that if they call you, that you'll be able to. So I feel like that's really very important. You should upskill yourself. The next thing I want to say here is learn how to make urgent 2K. What did I say? Learn how to make urgent 2K. All right. Life, you know, there's something that I think the mathematicians will tell us, cerebus paribus, isn't it? All things being equal. We wish that all things are always being equal. All right. However, life is not like that. All right. I wish I can tell you that once you start saving today, you will never have any problem. You will not need money again and all of that. But I can't tell you that because I've been in a situation myself whereby I did all the theoretical things and stuff, but I still found myself because of circumstances beyond my control. All right. I've controlled everything within my control, but because of circumstances beyond my control, I couldn't make I didn't have the money. So, but learn to make urgent 2K. That means as you're upskilling, what is something on the side that you can do that can make you money? All right. Not just your skill is there, you can always sell it, but make sure that there's something, there's basically a side also or multiple stream of income. I just use the Nigerian balance to say urgent 2K, something that you can do, you can turn around quickly. I feel like it's really going to help. Let me quickly run off there. I've talked about self development. Then also, when you have the money, make it work for you. That's why I said it's tying back to that financial education. Don't just keep your money. Financial people, you don't just keep all your money in the bank. All right, because inflation is going to erode it. All right, the people that turn their money to dollar now, that was even another strategy. I'm not saying do that. I'm not a financial advisor, but ensure that you are making the money work for you. All right. Then also learn to reward yourself, because I feel like sometimes some people just save so much that they don't reward themselves and they lose the motivation to keep on saving. All right. So if you save your money, ensure that you have things that you do to reward yourself. Either it is just joy to you to help helpless or homeless people, motherless children, or you just want to treat yourself. All right. I feel like if you can afford it, buy it. However, make sure you can afford it. You can tell yourself there is this bag. When I save to this amount, this is what I'm going to get. There is an incentive towards your savings, and then it's just like human beings. When things are gamified or incentivized, we tend to do more and we tend to do better. So I think those are some. Oh, the last thing as well for future proofing yourself is try not to spend on every day of the week. All right, try not to spend on every day of the week. Have days that you spend, have days that you don't spend, except it's an emergency. That way, you can control your spending and you can control yourself. I hope with this little point of mine, I've been able to drop one or two things. Thank you very much. Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay. Oh yes. Can you talk about emotional? About black tax and emotional spending again. Okay, all right. So I was saying that we are humans of emotions. I don't think you can be emotionless, all right? But I said be smart with it, all right? And that was what I was talking about. Sometimes people are just giving because they feel obliged because of their emotions and they're just giving. And people know that if they come and ask you, you will not say no. And then I said things like, I gave an example of somebody I was working with, and he was funding. He was not saving here in the UK, but he was sending money to his sister in Nigeria, which his sister was in uni, but his parents as well were sending her money. All right, so she was having double income. So she was the biggest girl in school. He was here not saving. You get so he was funding an extravagant lifestyle whereby he wasn't saving. So I said for black tax, two things: fund a need, not a want, right? Help people, but ensure that you are not helping. Your help is not like you are suffering yourself to like, okay, I need to send money to Nigeria. I'm not going to buy clothes this month. And then you're sending somebody money to somebody that they're like, my auntie, I want to buy wig. The wig is 250K. And you're like, wig is 250K, and you are, you are saving money to send somebody that the wig is 250K. If you want to buy a 250K wig, you should get it yourself. All right. Except it is your birthday and I ask you, what do you want? And it is a gift. All right. Do you see my point? So that was just what I was clarifying, that I don't believe in. Some people have the idea that don't ever give to anybody, lock up from them. No, 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 because we are collective. And especially in Africa, our parents, our families gave up a lot for us to be able to go to school and sponsor us. So I don't think you can ignore them. And even for parents, let me just even say this as well. For parents, you need to be smart about it, that they don't drag you into, because their generation is different. They just be like, your cousin is doing marriage and everybody is contributing 200K. So maybe you should contribute 200K. Just quickly tell your mom that, mommy, in my allowance for this month, the money. Oh, and then something I forgot to say as well. Always take your savings out from your remaining money. The money you have, your savings is not part of the money you have. So please, when you're telling people I don't have money, yes, you don't have money because your savings is not part of the money that you have. Please, let's us get that right. Because the people that have given their children school fees to help somebody, or the money they were saving for a car. No, you have allowance. I have, like, somebody gave me a wisdom when we were getting married, and she said, have these budgets for family members. Maybe it's £50 a month or something. You don't have to spend it if nobody asks you and all of that, all right? But after that, you don't have, God forbid, emergency. You don't have, all right? So, and also just, emotional things again, don't let your maybe mom or dad give to them, please. You need to really give to your parents. And I cannot emphasize that enough. But make sure that you're smart about it. Give them what they need. Don't let anybody pressure you. Don't do because your sister is in Canada. You are in UK. Your sister is already giving $1,000 and she's younger than you. And you cannot afford $1,000. You're like, how can my sister be giving $1,000 and I'll be giving £200? Auntie, give your £200. You're still going to get there. Do you get it? Is different, different. Don't just. So I believe in giving, but don't allow anybody to pressure you, and also don't allow your parents to also make they are giving this thing. Everybody has given to grandma. Have you given to grandma? Maybe it's a month that you cannot afford. Don't allow pressure. And because that's the way they feel like they can talk to you and all that. So ensure that nobody's pressuring you. Be able to make your stance known gently and be consistent with it. People will know you. All right. People will know you. I'll give you an example. When I was going to get married, uh, me and my husband already agreed that these are the things that we are doing, these are the things that we are not doing. All right. And then, but when we landed in Nigeria, I don't know if this has happened to you. The reality is different. Anyway, moving forward, moving on. You know, and somebody came to me and then said, "Oh yeah, we were thinking that maybe we should have small chops and kiniko." I said, "Well, I have reached the limit of what I'm thinking." You understand what I'm trying to say? So because you need to be able, and that's why you need to plan ahead. All right. This is not a planning session and so on, but you can deduce from what I was saying that you need to plan, because that way you will know your limits already, right? In fact, when I when I'm going to Nigeria, I write the list of the people. This one, I'm buying you clothes, I'm not giving you money. I'm buying you this one. This one, I'm giving money. This one, I write it like that. Then I have a purse. This one is 500 naira. This is 1,000. All right. This one is, I don't know if they're not the 5,000 naira notes. So if I put my hand here, I know what I'm giving you. If I put my hand here, I know what I'm giving you. Especially if I'm going to attend a party, I already plan everything. You get, so that way I give myself a leeway. When money was still this thing in Nigeria, maybe I give myself a leeway of 100,000. Okay, just in case you jam Okoloma or something like that. I don't know the English of that one. You jam the egg person. Let's just put it like that. But I plan. I actually write a list. You get, and it depends on how close you are. My neighbors, obviously, they did not see me in a long while, but I'm not obliged to flaunt their lifestyle. I'll give them something. Chocolate is good as well. American chocolate is good for them, right? I'm not now being, it's my neighbor. I'm not seen them in a while. 50K. Why? Why? What's their contribution, Gone? What exactly is their contribution? They are just your neighbor. They've been your neighbor and you greet them. Do you get? So you need to be able to allocate people's contribution and give, but be smart about it. I hope that helps. Sorry. I hope that helps. Okay, so first of all, you need to come into the prepare for the future. You need to upskill, all right, so that you're not falling into. It's not, the reason why you have savings is also security, or isn't it? You need to have savings that if anything happens to you, but it should not be that you are constantly going into savings. So I feel like you need to upskill. Either you need to earn more, then you need to look at your bank statement and see if you are earning or you are living above your means. Maybe you are living in what do they call it, Lekki, and you're supposed to be living in Ikeja. Do you get? Because those things happen. And these are some of the things that, or maybe you're supposed to be living in Ikorodu, all right, because you are not even going to work. You're working from home. So what are you doing in Lekki in a very, and you don't own the house. If you own the property, no problem. Do you get? And then your husband is working in Ikeja. What is the ROI? Or you are 25, you are not yet married, but all your friends are like, I should not be living at home with your parents. Why go? What is the matter? Why can't you leave? You get, and your workplace is not far, because sometimes people just get, and now you are now coughing out 700K as part of your district for sharing a flat with somebody. 700K that you can save into your future. Do you get? Now, that's not to say that please people should not move from home. I'm just giving you an example that sometimes we need to really look at what is causing us to be in a fix. All right. So I feel like upskill, look at your finances and your spending and see if you're spending above your pay grade. All right. So an upskilling also means dust your CV and maybe look for another job as well. All right. So that you don't get tied down. So I think that's my answer to that. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, I think it's frozen on my end too, but I can hear you. Okay. 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 All right. So for married woman, first of all, it depends on which family members that you're dealing with. If it is your own family members, my dear, it's because they know you as Father Christmas. That's why they're not allowing you to rest. All right. If they don't know you as Father Christmas, people treat us the way we tell them to treat us. People treat you the way you tell them to treat you. All right. So if you've been Father Christmas, they will keep on asking. All right. And like I said, I've established. It's not like I'm not saying don't give, but you need to change your approach to giving to them. All right. Know that okay, in this 2025, I'm only going to give to 5 person in my family, and it is 10K per time, making 50K. God forbid any emergency. All right. Now, once 5 people come, Otitoni, if the like number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, it is finished. And I feel like because sometimes people feel like if you have money that's maybe 5K every month, okay, this is for doing good, all right? And then save your money. Or if it is, depending on your salary, you're doing good, might be 500,000. That's good. You get, just make sure you have saved. Now, once you're doing good finance is finished, it is finished. Your savings is not part of money that you have. You don't have it. It is your savings. You don't have it. That money has a purpose. Any money that has a purpose is not a money that you have. All right. Now, if it is your husband's side, that's a bit more complex, but it is your husband that it depends on your husband's attitude to it. But you need to start letting him see how, it is, how beneficial it is for you guys to be on the same financial education kind of thing. So, first thing, if it's on your husband's side, you need to get your husband on board because you cannot just go in and say, it's not available, it's not available, it's not available, number one. So, you need to get your husband on board if you can. Can you still hear me? All right. I think he's working now. He's frozen and he came back. Yeah. So you need to get your husband, you need to get your husband on board. And once you get your husband on board, just start talking to him about financial this thing. Number two, don't go to your in-laws and say, we cannot give to you. No, if it is your husband's side, let him be the representative to deliver the message. All right. And say to him that imagine how much paint scenarios that imagine, look at how much we gave last year. Did these people really need it? Were we funding a want? Because sometimes it's not enough to just say, don't let us give to this person. Somebody might think you're a bad person. But do analysis. Sit down. Say, let's do analysis and show it to him. That's number two. Number three, encourage him in, join financial webinar, put the phone beside him so that both of you are listening. You're just in the kitchen, say, it's a financial webinar. Like this one, I'll just put it beside him. It is listening. It's like, you get, sometimes people don't like you to come to them and just say, oh, I don't think we should give to, and some of us talk and say, why should we give to them? Do they contribute to this house? I don't think that's really going to solve the problem. I think it's something you need to let people see reason and do that. But please don't approach your in-laws yourself and say, it's not me that say that you don't give to them. I hope that helps. Okay. All right. So the first question, first, follow your leader. Follow Margaret. She's not in Nigeria. She has a lot of stuff that you can go on her page. And Urgent 2K is when you upskill yourself. There are even some things that you can start learning today. I remember that she was teaching a Canva this thing. Canva, as in there are digital skills that you can learn that is remote. There are being a virtual assistant. There are being, as in like different things that you can learn that you can start learning in 30 days. You can start making money from it, right? Because you can teach other people, the people that are looking for digital assistants and all of those kind of things. I do something similar as well, but I feel like Shewa has a whole lot on her page can empower you in terms of what you can do. In fact, you can even turn your own main education, for example, what it is okay, I'm an engineer, right? How can I make an urgent 2K? There are so many ways I can make urgent 2K. First of all, let me create a new service now. So that people will come and start patronizing me. If your children doesn't know what to study in this thing and they're in sciences, just call me. I'll come and talk to them. Let's create a price. What's the price of that one? 2K. I'll talk to them. We will help them research universities. We'll help them talk about education in Nigeria, engineering, and all of that. And they can decide what to put on their JAMB form. Service 1. Service 2, your child is in university, is an engineer, is maybe not serious and all of that. I wanted somebody to talk to me. I'm here, engineering mentor. All right, come and take my service and all of that. I can meet with him every week and all of that, virtually and all of that. I will take 10K, 5 minutes. Another service is already established. All right. Now I can take my engineering skills and all of that, and also say that I speak and all of that. There's a lot, I didn't just want to this topic today in terms of upskilling yourself. There's a lot that we can unpack under that because also how you show up also matters. Because some of us we don't have any presence anywhere. Nobody can search for you and find you anywhere. You are in the local government and that's it, right? So also I write a lot on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually my most active social media platform. I create a presence and I create as an engineer. I do other things, but on LinkedIn I show up as an engineer. All right, I create a presence and all of that. That leads to speaking opportunities that leads to opportunities. You just heard there that I volunteer for IOM3 and I do accreditation visit and all that. And that comes with all of its own perks as well. Do you get all of those things come with stuff? So you're making things alongside. I'm just telling you in terms of your career, not even in terms of skill. Okay. So that's me as a person. Now, I think I can cook a little bit. All right. So I can start a YouTube channel or I can do it. I'm going to launch a cookbook. I told myself I'm going to launch a cookbook. In this age of AI, it's very easy to launch a cookbook. I'm going to launch a cookbook. So when I launch the cookbook, all of you should come and buy. I'll just go to ChatGPT, put my not just copy and paste. It's even easier than ever. That's why I said follow Shewa. There are so many skills. So you can start your YouTube channel. You can start talking on WhatsApp. You can start different skills that you have, different skill sets that I am here talking today. You understand what I'm trying to say? So different things that you can just look at yourself, look at your skill, do the assignment and all of that. Maybe I'll recommend for Shewa that maybe if they can have an upskilling session that people can just so that we don't go away from financing to upskilling. But I feel like upskilling will help you learn how to make the urgent 2K, especially for moms. Sometimes you can't leave the house. You can, your children are still young and all of that. Whatever little that you can do, it can bring you down urgent 2K. Then the next question was about investment. You see, that one of investment, maybe because I live in the UK, it's very hard to give investment advice because then you are liable, right? But I think go and look for people online, follow them. And the landscape will be very different from country to country. But I'll just give you examples. Now, a disclaimer here, I'm not saying do these businesses. I'm just giving you examples, all right? So there was a time when it was still sane, in quotes, when it was still sane. I personally I invest across. And investors doesn't when you say we are looking for billionaire like Dangote, invest in Dangote. No. There was a time I was doing farm crowding, and also I research investments, all right, as an intellectual. I did farm crowding and all of that. But over time, I think that really did not work anymore. But I did at that time when I did it, my due diligence was, they were, and once I saw it wasn't this thing, I moved on. Now, please, I'm not into crypto or this. That's why I said get financial education, right? The money it has to start. When you know financial education, you will not fall victim of pseudo schemes and things like that. Also, there is bonds and shares in Nigeria as well. Make sure you do your research. And there are people that do this. I think there's some toolsing. You can just type financial this thing on Instagram wherever you are, you will find them. In the UK, there are so many of them. In fact, shares is very straightforward here. And you can just buy shares of company from a app or things like that. You can invest in property, you can invest in different ones. So there are different ones all over the world. So I won't have a one size fits all for you. It's just you need to research because I want you to research. Never do an investment because that's another thing that you've not researched. Research it and mix it. Don't let somebody tell, I will give you 1,000, then you bring five people and it will make 10,000. Where is the money being made? What is the product being sold? All right. Yeah. So don't just do, I don't believe in multi level marketing. Make sure that it makes sense. If there's no products being sold, they're just bringing people. It's not even a job. A job we understand and we understand the contribution. So I hope that helps. Research it, do due diligence, and I'm sure that there are investments across countries. Mm, mm, so, yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's true. And also people will not quickly run to you when they know that it's not like nobody can say, "Ah, right," because they know that you will think about it. So they will quickly, a lot of problem will have been solved before it gets to you. Yeah, right. So mm, mm, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I think the final thing for me is just to remind us where we started. Remember, we talked about the past being the foundation, and we talked about plugging the hole. All right. So we need to plug that hole. And we talked about a couple of things there about, get financial education is in the two parts, right? And also we talked about you before you do. All right. Understand what your basis is. Because some people, the reason why they eat 10 meats and their meat easily finishes is because they didn't eat any meat while growing up. So if they don't eat from that, you cannot just take the 10 meat away from them. I know people that are married to their husbands, and the husband said that when I was growing up, it's only daddy that had to me, so now I must be eating 10 meat. Now, in that meat, how did they win? You get so you need to heal from that and as well. And one key thing I also want to say there again is remember you are not what you have, you are who you are. All right. So your wealth is not really in what you have. If everything gets missing today, and I say to people, it also removes desperation from your circumstance. You can easily walk away from bribe, you can walk away from things, you can walk away from anything that can soil your name, soil your children, soil your financial this thing, because you are not what you have, you are who you are as a person. All right. Then the second aspect was about, prepare for the future. We've talked about upskilling, urgent to kill. Why I added upskilling can be a part of urgent skill, but some people they just learn, learn, learn. They are following like 10, 20 coaches, but they are not implementing. And that's why I said the urgent to kill. So I don't want you to fall into that trap of just learning. They are doing this AI course, you're there. They are doing this webinar, you're there. But what have you used it for? You've not made any money from it. So don't just be somebody that is holding courses, trainings, and all of that. Make something from it. So that's why the urgent to kill is there. And also we talked about the black tax and emotional thing. Like I said, some people hold the opinion, don't give anybody anything. I don't think that's really realistic. I think that people have contributed to us, and as well, people have money in this world and they are not happy. That's also a reality that we must remember that there are people that have everything and they are not happy, and that's because of so many reasons. All right, they are just empty. But ensure that your life is full and you're not empty. Help other people, give to people things that just inspires you as well. So I think those are the main things. I think even you being here today just shows how much you sort of value your financial education. And also, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Don't try, you've not saved 50, you're trying to save 500K. You will get frustrated because you just be like, why can't I save 500K? All right. Start gradually and then build it up. And thank you very much for listening to me. That's all from me today. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for the good work you're doing. God bless. I'll send you a recording. Yeah. No, it's fine. It's just a blessing, isn't it, to speak to people. Thank you so much. God bless. Yeah. Bye.